What's up, everybody? My name is Jakari Trueheart, affectionately known as JT. And today we're going to talk about something that we use to build our business, and that's door knocking, free leads. How can you be successful without spending a fortune trying to do that? So I'm going to give you some simple tips, things that works for me out in the field, things that don't work. Just a little bit of background for myself. I'm 24 years into the financial field. I've been in the mortgage industry primarily, had some success with corporate, and at the same time, I've been able to invest all those years and done pretty well with that. But now this is a new frontier for me, being involved in the insurance industry, which I've been in about 2 years now. And the agency is brand new, just starting that this past year in March. So this is going to be an opportunity for you. Maybe many of you out there are doing the same thing. You're starting your own agency. Maybe you've been in the agency for a long time and then you're just looking for ways to see what works for others. And so we're all in the same world. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all trying to make things work and we're all trying to take care of our families, right? So anything that we can do for each other, we want to help each other. So my goal is to bring you guys along on my journey. So if you like the content that you're seeing, please subscribe, continue to follow me, because my goal is to continue to put content out there and show real time what I'm doing out there in the field to grow this agency, which has just started. I have the bases done, the business is started, I have the website up, I'm on social media, and I'm doing some things. And then during my content, I'm going to break some of that stuff down, what I use, who I use to help me in those fields as far as marketing. And then also, one of the biggest things, how do I even pay for all this stuff? As far as what do I use to build the marketing? Who do I go to help in that manner? All of those things are going to be broken down into each video. So follow me, and then we'll continue to grow this agency, and you'll see how I'm doing mine. And if you guys are out there in the world, please feel free to share some of your content with me. I'd love to see what you're doing. But today, without further ado, let's talk about one of the things that I had to use to get myself started. I didn't have a big budget to go into this new endeavor. So we're going to talk about door knocking. Now, I will share at one point I listened to a podcast some time ago, and you hear a lot of different agents and you like to hear what their successes and failures are. One of the agents that is from the podcast was extremely successful. He stated he hated door knocking. So all he does is sit, he buys leads, and his business is doing really well just buying leads. But on the flip side, there were a few other agents that are very successful, and they're successful, and all they do is door knock. No buying any leads. Not to them, it's waste of money, and it's not the benefit is not as dire as some of the others like to think it is. So again, everyone is a little bit different. Now, me personally, I don't mind talking to people, going to doors and trying to garner up business. So let's talk about that and let's see if this is something that you might incorporate. And I'll show you some things that I'm using to try to facilitate me in being successful out there. So now in 2025, going into 2026, how to be successful at door knocking. So why is that something that you may want to consider? 4 points. One, it's cost effective. Like I mentioned, it's free. If you are in this industry and you have no money and you're just getting started, maybe you're trying to be a broker and starting an agency, as you see myself here, you may not have an extended budget and something that you can pour a bunch of money into. So the best way is to hit the ground running and go and door knock. Those are basically every neighborhood are your leads. There are people that are out there looking for people to come find them because maybe they're too lazy to pick up the phone. Maybe they're not thinking, there's so many companies out there. Who do I trust? What person do I trust? Who's going to know what I need? So they're looking for you. And you're going to get some doors slammed on you. Trust and believe that is something that you're going to have to deal with. But at the same time, there are people out there that need it. I'll just tell you real quickly, my mother passed away a couple of years ago. But about a couple of years before she passed, we were talking about final expense insurance. And one day she calls me up and she says, honey, she was asking me some questions. And I said, Mom, why are you asking me all these questions? She says, oh, I got an insurance agent here and we're signing up for a couple of policies, her and her roommate at the time. So there you have it. This roommate, my mother lived in a 55 plus senior living facility, and they went all around there, and they obviously, if no one else, they received my mother's business. And because she had a roommate in there that was over 55, that roommate of hers was able to also sign up on policy. That's two policies based on just going and door knocking. Another point, hyper local. You connect and you want to connect with people directly. That way they can look at you just like you guys are watching me today and you're feeling out my personality and seeing if I'm someone you'd like to follow that content. That's the same thing we're doing when we're door knocking. We're building a relationship and we're feeling someone out and we're deciding if we want to do business. So we are going out there and people are making a split second decision. Do they like you or do they not like you? And that's going to determine if they're in need of your services, if they're going to want to work with you. And it's better doing it that way than calling on the phone with a lead that you actually spent money on. The next point, personal touch. When you look at digital marketing at this day and age, everything is one of those things where you're building a relationship and you want to be memorable. And that human interaction is just something that you can't replace. So again, kind of similar to being hyper with my hyper local point, you're targeting an area and you're attacking that one area. And because you're doing that and being there in person, you're adding that personal touch. And my last point is building trust, showing up in person, being very brief when you're starting to talk to those ones, and starts building your local trust. Because now, when you think about a PNC company like State Farm, State Farm does all this business, does its advertisement, and they have Jake from State Farm. But when you think about agents, there's so many different carriers that we use, so many people that we work for, and we go out there and we represent. So there's no face to the company. So why not you be the face to that company? Go out there and give it that personal touch, be very brief, be respectful, and build that trust to those consumers. Because one of the biggest things when it comes to sales is referrals. So what you do, how you represent yourself, how you show up, is going to pay big dividends, because those people can be not only look at you as their Jake from State Farm and the life insurance and final expense world, but you will also be someone that they will want to refer to, because everyone wants to feel like they know a guy, right? When someone asks a question and they know that you're a broker and they know that you offer a certain product, everyone wants to say, hey, I got a guy. Why not that be you? Okay.